Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Spencer Tillis.
And I'm Giselle Espinales.
And this is the Delmarva Sports Insider. In this week's episode, Polytech football was looking to pull off a huge win at home, but could the Panthers hold off a late charge from Dover?
And soccer action, Stephen Decatur girls soccer team looking to remain undefeated. Were they able to against a tough Northern Patriots team? We'll have the highlights a little later.
And SU football was back in action in Siegel Stadium, but could Coach Wood's boys bounce back from last weekend's tough loss?
But first, it's week 9, Delmarva. I can't believe how fast this football season has gone, and it's not done yet. We begin with Sussex Tech taking on Woodbridge. We started off in the third quarter. Ravens already up 36-0, but that won't stop their defense from making plays. Scott Wolk, a big tackle, and results in a loss of yardage for Woodbridge. And Ravens defense just keeps getting better throughout the night. This time, William back. Boom! Down goes Blue Raiders Logan Westcott. Ravens just flying all over him throughout the entire night. Offense did their job as Sussex Tech wins this one 42-0, but on Friday, it was all about the Ravens defense. And you know, man, what a score, first of all. And I think late in the season, shutouts would be a little more difficult as the wear and tear of 8 weeks of football kicks in. But Sussex Tech is rolling and big. And after last week's game on the road against Cape, and now getting this huge 42-point win, the Ravens have scored less than 40 points in just 2 games, so their offense is obviously a machine.
Yeah, clearly if you're going to score 40 points a game, you're probably going to do pretty well in the season, and you know they're definitely living up to that. But I tell you what, this team has just been getting better and better throughout the season, and they look like they're about to finish the season here with just that one loss. They play at Polytech next week. You would expect them to roll in that one. But I tell you what really impressed me is that defense. I mean, Westcott is such a great athlete, and they just had him bottled up all night long. He was really unable to really get anything going for him, and that's tough to do with a guy like that. Well, Parkside was looking to make it 3 straight wins on Thursday night when they hosted Stephen Decatur in what ended up being a great game. First quarter here for the Rams, and they take the lead after Wayne Gardner takes this one in off the left side from 5 yards out, but back come the Seahawks. It was Justin Meekins this time. He decides to air this one deep down the field. He finds his man R.J. Heyman, and he would do the rest. Gets a step, and that would be all he needed. We are tied up, and then Decatur down 7 yet again. Dryden Browse this time shakes loose up the left side. He'll take that one, turn on the Jets, and dive in for the score right here at the end. A little flash, I like it. Close ball game here when Devin Redden gets picked off in the red zone by Ed Zanoic, who just breaks the plane. The point after would put the Seahawks up 1 with under 7 to play. But Redding, though, he'd make up for it. Drives his team down the field, scores the go-ahead touchdown right here, and he is fired up about it. Just 4 minutes left, and then this would be your ball game. Facing 3rd and 10 from the 15, Meekins gets picked off at the 1-yard line here by Jawan Williams. The Rams survive a thriller, 35-28 the final. And I tell you, what a game. Wow. These Seahawks, they play everyone tough, and the Rams, 3 straight now after the tough start to the season they had. I mean, they are looking better and better. But I can't tell you how disappointed I feel with these Seahawks. You look at the schedule, they had a number of games that you feel like they should have won. Week 1 against IR, they lose that tough one there. They lose another one just a few weeks ago against Bennett. That was just a thriller of a game. They just can't seem to get a break right now. This season has been just so difficult for them. But you know what? I guess that's just how it happens. So, I mean, somebody has to lose at the end of the day.
You're right. But let's talk about the Rams defensive end and tight end Malcolm Downing. 2 third-down sacks, a punt block that made the difference in this game. I mean, the senior is making a statement for a season that hasn't been that great for Parkside, but that's the way you finish. He has the leadership and made the necessary plays to help his team win a big game. I mean, 35-28, that's huge.
Yeah, he was big in that game.
And we take it back to Delaware. Sussex Central hosting Cape Henlopen. The Vikings looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season against the Sussex Tech Ravens. So far, so good. Briley Brooks makes it into the end zone, 5-yard touchdown. But the Golden Knights are not backing down from a tough Vikings defense. That was Son Savage. He finds his way in, breaks through for the 20-yard touchdown, and Central just continued on Friday night to dominate on offense. And Monte Clayton to Aaron Spady right here. Looks, gets out of the way, finds him for the 15-yard pass. Sussex Central with a huge upset over Cape Henlopen. Final score, 35-21. I have to admit, I think I jinxed Cape Henlopen.
Still wearing the colors, though. I like it.
Oh, no. So maybe even more, that's more of a jinx. 2 weeks ago before Friday night's game and the week prior to Sussex Tech, I said the Vikings would finish the season undefeated, and now Oh, man, I don't know. I was really wrong, yes. But Cape might have been shaken up from a tough loss to the Ravens. But against the Golden Knights, a close games. But honestly, the Vikings shouldn't have gotten that W.
Yeah, I can't explain this team right now. I don't know how they lose that game, but looking at it the other side, I mean, what a win right now for Central. I mean, coming into this game, I thought their season was done at 1-5, and realistically, I mean, playoffs at this point are still a very long shot for him. But give Coach Wells some credit right now. I mean, he has his boys still playing tough. They've won 3 straight now. They're actually, finishing this season pretty strong, regardless of what the playoffs have in store for them. And the fact that they've been able to do that against Cape at home, I mean, nobody probably had that one pegged. So I'm really excited about what that program's got going for them. And it was senior night over in Del Mar as the Wildcats looked to play spoiler when they hosted Indian River on Friday night. The Wildcats already holding on to a big lead here just before half, and Shane Leatherberry drops back to pass, and that is his man Kayvon Trader, 37 yards to the house, almost takes out the ball right there. The home team up 35-0 at the break in the second half. Well, the Indians trying to start something. Keontae Sturgis calls his own number, gets the edge, and takes this one all the way down to the 1-yard line after a great stiff arm. They would go for it on 4th and goal, but George Martin gets stuffed right here at the 1-inch line, just that close. But the Wildcats defense, well, they just made plays all night as they take this thing 42-6 the final. And you know what? This team also reminds me of Sussex Central. I mean, Del Mar had the terrible start to the year.
Yeah.
They had those 3 games where they lost within a touchdown. All of a sudden, they were just so far back there. But they're getting closer and closer getting to 500. Shane Leatherberry, I mean, a senior quarterback, in order to go out the way you want on your home field like that, the way that he played, having a couple touchdowns. I mean, this is another team that give the coaching staff some credit. They have that team playing hard all the way throughout.
That's true, and we always give praise to Leatherberry, as he should, and he deserves it. But what about their freshman running back, Brooks Parker? He finished the day with 2 touchdowns, 122 yards with just 10 carries. That gives Del Mar hope after the seniors leave that the freshman class has what it takes as well.
Yeah, Del Mar's one of those programs that they won't be down for too long, so expect them to bounce back. Well, what games do you want us to cover this next week in the final week of the regular season? Let us know by reaching out to us on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll bring you those highlights.
And coming up, football history in the making as Caesar Rodney hosted Smyrna. Highlights coming up after the break. Keep it locked right here.
And I'm Nathaniel Lowe, junior at Cambridge South Dorchester High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.
Welcome back. Some more football action because there can never be enough football. Colonel Richardson taking on Cambridge South Dorchester. We started off in the first quarter. Vikings strike fast just 16 seconds into the game. Nathaniel Lowe takes the opportunity of the open field and runs fast for the 18-yard touchdown. Cambridge South Dorchester on the board first. Lowe this time showing us he can throw too. That one goes to James Smith. Outruns Colonel's defenders. Makes it into the end zone for the 36-yard touchdown, but you can't count out Colonel. Sean Bowens finds A.J. Palmer. Got to finish that tackle, but good for Palmer on not stopping and taking that one in. But after that, this game belonged to the Vikings as they take it 56-12.
And Polytech was hosting Dover. Picked things up here in the fourth quarter, going deep down the field. And he finds a man, Cody Stevens, and he would do the rest. Takes it in for the score, and the Panthers take their first lead of the game at 17-14. But back comes Dover. Devlin Lachlan reading his blocks well, just bounces in for the score right there for the Senators. They're back on top. Now it's Poly's turn. Chris Webb, he gets it on the draw, hit in the backfield, but bounces to the outside, and that is good for the score. Just an awesome run right there. Dover had one last chance, but Cody Stevens would be intercepted, and that would end this thing. Poly takes it 24-21 the final.
And Seaford taking on Lake Forest. First quarter here, Noah Feig Johnson find Austin Lonsky for a long 40-yard touchdown. Gotta love those perfect shots when the touchdown comes right at you. Great timing, Trey.
Yeah, buddy.
Lemire Pierre this time. That's good right here for 17 yards and the touchdown. Spartans just continue their season domination. Lonsky again with the run, 36 yards to the house. Lake Forest remains undefeated as they just roll over Seaford 55-0.
And Caesar Rodney was taking on Smyrna here early on. Fido Lewis barrels his way in from 1 yard out. That put his team up 12-8 at that point. But the Eagles would respond to this thing. They show they can run the ball themselves. Great blocking again on this one. 5 yards out. He takes in for the score. And then the Eagles looking for a little bit more. They decide to go for 2, and that was a great choice. Makes it 16-12. CR trying to make the plays down the stretch. Jordan Downs right here, left tackle. That is good, but for the first time in 42 years, history made as the Eagles take down the Riders, 36-33 the final. And wow, I mean, just one of the games right there, but what a week of football.
I know. Teams were shutouts, 42 years of history in the making with Smyrna's win over Cesar Ronnie, like you said. Phew. And of course, that's not the only action. Trey Miles joins us. Trey, looks like the rankings are more solidified now in Week 9.
Thanks, Giselle. Yes, indeed, Week 9 came and Week 9 is gone. It officially is time to separate the contenders from those pretenders. Speaking of contenders, Kent Island all over James M. Bennett, 48-0. Wahai loses another close one on the road, 20-14 to North Carolina. The loss all but ending the Indians' playoff hopes. And wow, what a game. Washington sneaks out one against Snow Hill, 25-24. Couple more to show you as Kent County Trojans. They remain on fire. Their 5th straight win, defeating Arcadia 44-13. And Laurel, how about those Bulldogs? Moves to 7-2 on the year as they defeat Milford 35-14. Over to our power rankings in Maryland. Kent County at 5. They opened up 5 in a row. Queen Anne's and Easton at 4 and 3. Their game was postponed until tomorrow afternoon. Should be a very good game. Cambridge looking to make some noise again in that 1A East at number 2. And of course, our number 1 seed in the 2A East, still the number 1 seed. It remains to be Kent Island, number 1 at 7-1 on the season, and taking it over to Delaware. Okay, guys, I'm officially taking applications for this 5 spot because nobody, I mean nobody, seems to want it. It belongs to Smyrna this week with their historic win over Cesar Rodney. What is up with Cape right now? The Vikings lose 2 in a row. Laurel will jump them from 4 to 3. Numbers 1 and 2 I struggle with this week because the way Tech beat up on a solid Woodbridge team, but Lake is still undefeated. And guys, this is not college. You cannot win in the standings and fall. No way.
Well, I disagree with that point. I feel like if your win is more impressive, and I still think Tech is a little bit higher up in that totem pole, but I think that's just kind of cutting hairs right there. And then Smyrna, that one's tough. Like, I actually think maybe they should be in, but I think there's an argument right now to be made for Central. Despite the fact they are under 500, I think they've been 3 straight wins now, some impressive performances.
All right, Trey, I mean, I don't know about you, but remember, I was worried that a loss will bring a team higher in rankings. He's done that before, where people would lose and they drop it. I don't know. But Lake Forest, like you said, deserves to be number 1. That's it. They've proven it, and I believe in the Spartans. I've been jumping all over the place with the Vikings, the Rams. Okay, now with the Spartans again, so we're good. High school football done. Now it's time to move over to the collegiate side. Salisbury taking on Alfred. Seagulls had the lead heading into halftime, 14-7, but the Saxons came out in the 3rd in full force. Tyler Johnson taking no chances, takes it in, 1-yard touchdown kick was good, and Alfred ties things up. But the Gulls quick to respond right in the 4th quarter. That ball gets handed off to Jerome Johnson, a 14-yard run. The kick is good, and the Seagulls get the lead once again. But what's this? A trick play. I almost lost it shooting it. Rodney Etienne passes that one to Brendan Bush, 76 yards, gets in the end zone. The Gulls defense would be able to block the kick, so that's good. But this game ended up coming down to a field goal. Salisbury in a tough 23-21 loss to Alfred.
And that is a heartbreaker. Well, Wesley, they were playing College of the Faith yesterday, which might be a high school team. Defense just dominant in this one for the Wolverines. Amir Petrose blows this one up in the backfield right there. They didn't allow a first down the entire game. Saints try the option. Jordan Westcott blows that thing up. Dan Longray falls on that thing. They come up with 11 takeaways. And then talk about being a one-sided affair. They also were getting it done on offense well. Kendall Squirrel right here gets to the outside, takes it in from 14 yards out. Wesley rolls with a ridiculous score of 62-0.
Kenneth Squirrel, that's a great name.
Yeah, that's not a bad football name.
and not a good weekend for the Delaware State Hornets. They fall to Howard 17-0 on the road. They are now 2-8 on the season. The Hornets will be back at home, though, facing Florida A&M on November 15th.
All right, we're going to go and take another quick commercial break, but do not go anywhere because on the other side, we are talking postseason play. It is underway. We'll update you on your teams coming up next.
This is Malcolm Stone, free safety at Cesar Rodney High School, and this is Delmarva Sports Insider.
Welcome back. Well, guys, it was championship week, and in volleyball, that meant Bennett was hosting North Carolina on Tuesday, and this ended up being a great match. The Bulldogs take the first set here with their possible Player of the Year candidate, Kayla Ferraro, coming through with a monster block right there. But the Clippers would come back here in set two. Tegan Vogelsong able to read the block well, hits that one in for the kill. But North Carolina just kept coming as they take this thing 3-2, earning their 7th conference title in 8 years.
And Del Mar taking on Smyrna. Crowd fired up for this one. Carly Covington right here. Perfect form, gets the ace and gets things going for Del Mar. Would it be back and forth with Smyrna? Eagles here coming up with a kill off deflection, but Del Mar takes this one 3-1.
Little field hockey. Worcester Prep taking on St. Peter and Paul. Sabres Madison Marciniak misses close, and unfortunately, that would be as close as the Sabres got. Prep on the attack now, and Mia Michi gets a quick one by the keeper. Prep would go on to add another as they win their 3rd straight ECAC title, 2-0.
And those two schools were also squaring off in the soccer championship as well. Scoreless here in overtime, and they would remain that way after an amazing diving save right there. And we would head to a second overtime. Just a couple of minutes left in the match, and look how this one ended. Shelby Lehman right here with a gorgeous shot. It would find the back of the net. Sabres take it 1-0 the final.
And some more field hockey action, this time Pocomoke taking on Kent County. We started off in the first half. Corner pass finds Lexi Butler at the top of the circle. She fires off a rocket, and the Warriors up 1-0 going into halftime. Pocomoke showing their defensive skills as well. Kent County breaks away, but Denasia Jones with a huge save for Pocomoke. This would seal the deal. Butler then shot finds freshman Peyton Becker, sticks that one. Pocomoke Warriors are the 1A East region champions with a 2-0 win over Kent County.
Snow Hill taking on North Dorchester in the first round of the 1A East volleyball playoffs. Nikki Bennett right here for Snow Hill will get the kill to go just over the net. Eagles up 2-0. Snow Hill on the attack again, but North Dorchester's Myaza Jones says, "Welcome to my block party." North Dorchester would win the 3rd set, but Snow Hill just too strong in this one. Lexi Collick's ace would fall. Snow Hill wins this one 3-1.
And Stephen Decatur was taking on Northeast in the first round. Seahawks take an early lead here in set one after Marley Parsons shows a soft touch there, dropping that one into the back row. The Eagles coming back in set two. A big-time kill right here would put things even, but Decatur would eventually hold on. Maria Jones with a cross-quarter at the end of this one to get the kill. The Seahawks take it 3-2.
Stephen Decatur Seahawks hosting Northern, and just 4 minutes in, the Trojans' Jocelyn King scores off the cross pass. Northern on the board first 1-0, but the Seahawks with a lot on the line. They have not lost a game this season, so the ball in the feet of Decatur's Lexi Van Kirk passes that one to Peyton Van Kirk with the equalizer, but Northern would take this one 3-1.
And how about the Mardella Warriors taking on the Eagles of Snow Hill? Casey Gossamer with the penalty kick. And listen, guys, when Gossamer's taking it, you know it's going to be good. Gives Mardella the 1-0 lead. Snow Hill fighting back now, and the initial shot gets past the keeper. The rebound goes to Hannah Jones, but oh no! Jones pushes it wide. Eagles had their chances, but Mardella advances 1-0.
And Pocomoke boys soccer was taking on rival Crisfield. The Crabbers were already up 1-0 and looking for more when Jordan Sterling takes a shot, but a great diving save there from Jared Hancock keeps them even at 1, or rather with the lead at 1. But the Warriors find the equalizer just seconds later. Gustavo Enriquez settles the cross, sends it home. Pocomoke would add a couple more to win 3-1 the final and advance to the regional championship match against Kent County.
When we come back, our buddy Ed Barkowitz is back to break down Eagles Texans. Please do not touch that dial.
Daniel Garza, I go to Indian River High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.
Welcome back. We are now going to talk a little bit about our pro teams we got going on here.
That's exactly right. The Eagles were in a thriller last week, and the Desert came up just a little bit short. They're back on the road. Eagles insider Ed Barkowitz is back with us to break down what happened last week and what will happen this week. Giselle?
Trey, that's right. Ed Barkowitz from the Philadelphia Daily News joins us. Ed, big loss for the Eagles, who went into this game 5-1. Did that record really show us what the Eagles are all about when they face the Cardinals?
You saw a lot of what has been hindering the Eagles all year. Inability to finish drives, especially with turnovers in the red zone. and also an inability to salt the game away. Chip Kelly certainly has an innovative offense that, is predicated on a lot of plays and quick movement and certainly does not lend itself to maybe salting games away. They had a problem earlier in the year with the Rams, let the Rams back into a game, and in the Cardinals, it was a game on Sunday that the Eagles could have won, but they're not there yet. They're not a finished product.
So they still have a lot of work to do and a little bit of time. They face the Texans in a couple of hours. What are the keys to bounce back and win this game?
The Eagles, they're a good team. They're not part of the NFL's elite just yet. The quarterback has some questions, and the defense has some questions. I think Nick Foles is a decent quarterback. I don't think he's their biggest problem. But as it relates to the Texans, it's Arian Foster. If they can slow down Arian Foster and that running game, then the Eagles would have a decent shot.
So, Ed, with all that said, what's your prediction for today's game?
If the Texans can run the ball and take pressure off Fitzpatrick, it'll be a long day. But I think the Eagles, this is a game the Eagles will win. I'm not sold on the Texans just yet. They're the teams that they beat are combined 9-21. I think this is one that the Eagles do get, by a touchdown or so.
All right, thank you, Ed. Always a pleasure. Guys, I think the Eagles also win. My score, 24-21. Close, I know.
I actually agree this week. I think the Eagles are going to pull this one out. I mean, the defense scares me for the Texans, but that offense, there's just not enough playmakers. I think it's somewhere around 28-24.
Well, Arian Foster happens to be on my fantasy team, and I hope he gets the job done for my sake. But I think Philadelphia offensively is going to be just too much for Houston. I'm also going 31-17 Eagles.
I guess we'll have to tune in and find out. Well, speaking of that, keep it right here. We got our final commercial break, but coming up on the other side, it is the best minute in sports, the top plays of the week. That is coming up next.
I'm Nelson Brown, I'm a running back at Y High. You're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.
Welcome back. Well, it is time for the top plays of the week, and mine comes from the Parkside Decatur game on Thursday night. This would be your ball game right here. 20 seconds left to play, and Jawan Williams comes up with a game-saving interception. What a play right there.
Nice.
My play comes from Friday night, Polytech versus Dover. Gabe Brown gets out of that one all the way to the end zone. I mean, he just went with the moves of the line and ran for it. Great play.
This last play is the best play. Javon Curry of Cape, 160 pounds.
Oh, my
soaking
goodness.
wet. Look what he does on this poor safety. I mean, he literally put all his weight into that one. Just walks in. Shout out to the little guy, Javon Curry.
I feel terrible for that guy, man. Well, that's all the time we got for you this week, but keep it right here. Ravens Wrap is up next, and have a great day.